Hey guys, welcome back to Design with Amy, where we talk about everything design, product design, UI, UX, and not only how to do the UI designs, but also the mental health around design. And before we go into what we're going to be discussing today, I wanted to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons so that you share with your friends and people who would find this as insightful. So, this week we are going to talk about how to stay productive. So this is more of like a mental health uh, episode, you know, how to stay productive when working on a very long-term project. So as a Saas product designer, most of the time I find myself working on projects that span years, which can be extremely exhausting, and you may find yourself losing psych along the project, and that would affect your productivity. You'd find that, I don't feel like working on this project anymore, and what do you do with that? Because most of the projects that I work on the day to day are quite large products. It's not like a landing page and that's done. They're quite large products that have a lot of parts to them. So we are going to talk about how to navigate that, how to stay productive, and how I do it. Or rather how I have learned to do it. Because it's honestly trial and error. So I'm lucky that I work at a place where there's multiple products going on at the same time, which means at a time I would have like 5 or 6 products that I am working on or I am involved in at a time. So I could take breaks with the products, but this may not be the case for everyone, because in my case, sometimes one product is more, you know, it's needed faster than the other, it's higher priority than the others. So you'd find you'd have to focus on one for a while, such that when you come back to the others, you're kind of excited still to work on them. This might not be the case for people who work on single products. So like maybe your entire organization is a product, so it's the same product every single day. So there's that aspect that, just putting it out there, that may not, maybe what I am giving as tips may not fit 100%, but you could use these tips to find your middle ground. How do you stay productive when working on a long-term project? One, I find it very easy to work, or to stay productive on a long-term project when I break it down at the beginning. That is, for instance, this is a huge product that has like 10 to 12 features. Rather than thinking or being or and has 10 to 12 features, has 3 or 4 users at the same time, rather than thinking of this product as a holistic thing, you need to break it down. So you need to think about, okay, so who is the first user that we need to handle, and then what are the MVP features for these users, and then we work on those first, so that in terms of priority, when you are going to show your clients what you have so far, they still need to have something that they see, okay, this can work, in especially in agile environments. They can be like, okay, this can be a good place to start as you add on the other things. So it's always nice to start with a break down the project. How many users do we have? For instance, your project is a rental property management platform that has your users as the property managers or property owners, and maybe it also handles like your tenants, but to a bit of a lower level. Like your tenants maybe just use the the product to just check what are their arrears this month, or maybe they don't even have to log onto the system to do that. Maybe they just get a message and then they make a payment, Many systems do that. They just send an automated message every month, and then it has a link that the users use that link to just automatically pay, especially here in Kenya. You just pay via M-Pesa. You get a link, and once you click on that link, you send a prompt to your phone, and then it just pops the SIM toolkit. You enter your PIN, and it deducts the exact amount that is supposed to be deducted. Quick and easy. You don't have to log on to anything as the tenant, but your property manager or your landlord can see, okay, this person has paid, and the system manages all that information. So maybe your product has the main user as the product manager, and then maybe you have multiple product managers, and maybe they have different attributes. Maybe some product managers. Maybe some. Have I been saying property product manager all this time? Oh my god. I meant property manager. So maybe your system is handling property managers. And maybe there is different types of property managers based on the different types of properties that they own. And maybe those will be handled differently. So maybe you can break it down as, let's start with people who own apartments. Okay, what are the features for property owners that own apartments? How do they onboard an apartment? What are the features of a normal apartment, so that we can have like a bare minimum that could, or a generic apartment fee onboarding that could handle any type of apartment. Maybe it's a 3 bedroom, it's a 2 bedroom, whatever. So like things like that, like, okay, you're starting by onboarding your apartment. How many bedrooms does it have? You specify. Does it have a bath? Whatever. Does your apartment building have parking? So now what are your amenities? Things like that. You sort all that, and then you go to, we have other types of property. So like maybe it's a single house, or like it's a bungalow, it's a townhouse. Those are different types of properties. So you break down your project, you handle, this is the first MVP, this is the first shipment, this is how we're going to do it. And then once you're done with that, then you think about the other users. Now you can think about, okay, the admin, because now you know the information that the admin will be viewing, now that they have onboarded different property owners. So you can think about that like that, although that could be like quite a short-term project, because it's not that big, because there's, of course, bigger SaaS products, but that's just a small example to help you know how to break down your project. And then once you break down your project, set milestones and celebrate these milestones. For instance, your first milestone is, we want at least end to end the product to be able to onboard a property owner. So you complete the property owner side and figure out all the features that you want the property owner to have, and you design all that end to end. That would take some time depending on how big the product is and how many features you want to include. And once you've marked your backlog that this was the first feature, it is done, it is sent, it has been reviewed, it's like completely done end to end. Ship that forward. Maybe it goes to front end and it goes along. We are now on the second part. This milestone, we want it to be done within this period. Maybe we're giving it 1 or 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we mark it. It's done. We review and whatever, pass it along. Things like that. And once you finish the first user, acknowledge that and celebrate that, oh, we finished the first user. We can say it can be tested end to end, and celebrate that. Be happy about that. Like an example of one time I was working on a project, and my lead. So we had like a very intense 2-week session that we were working day in, day out. Literally, I was working from 8 a.m. in the morning to like 3 a.m. in the evening, like every single day for like 2 weeks straight, because of the intense deadlines that were there for that project. And at the end of the 2 weeks, we were done with what we needed. And my lead gifted me with, just gave me a gift. My lead gave me a gift for just the good work that was done. And I felt really good, felt really accomplished. And I kind of like to do that for myself now. If I'm done with one bit that I had set for myself and it was intense, the deadlines were crazy. After that, I give myself a gift. I can buy myself something, like some nice food that I've been craving, or I can take myself to an ice cream place and just get ice cream and enjoy and just celebrate that milestone by myself, and it feels good. 3, make sure you have like a variety in your design tasks. So when you are working, for instance, on the property owners management product, as you work on every feature, make sure for every feature you do the wireframing, you do the small research, do the design inspo, do a mood board, whatever, things that inspire you for every feature, rather than doing all this up front and then now all you're doing is just designing the UI, which would feel a bit boring. Maybe you can decide, okay, for the first 3 features, let's do the wireframing for each, let's do the mood boarding, whatever. Of course, there's the things that will be preset, like the design system that you'll be using, your color styles, whatever, all these will be preset. But on how you decide the layout would be, of course, as long as it still looks the same, you can still be, you know, fluid around how you go about the design inspiration for the project. So ensure that with every sprint that you're doing, you have the different tasks going on. So you wireframe for each at the time that you're working on it. Wireframe for this one, get some design inspo from wherever, which can feel a bit more motivating. It can feel like you're doing something new every time rather than having all that for the entire system done ahead. And then when you get to the UI design, you're just UI designing the entire time. It could be a bit exhausting. Of course, this would vary based on how you do your work. So you have to come at this with, there's nuance to this. Yeah. And as you are making sure you have variety in your design tasks, also make sure that you are researching and getting the inspiration, as I mentioned, for every sprint, and map out your inspiration, have fun with it, whiteboard with people, collaborate with people, think it out together with other people so that you have fresh ideas, which would be very, very different from if you're thinking about all this alone. Have your colleagues, if it's a project that you're collaborating with other people, have them give you ideas, explain, have a whiteboard, explain to them, this is what I'm trying to achieve, this is the things that I'm thinking, what do you think? They can give you some fresh perspectives that you are not thinking about, which would give you some motivation, because it won't be as boring as you working on it alone. Last but not least, rest. This goes without saying. Please rest after you whenever you feel like you're coming to a point of burnout, or give yourself a sprint, like, okay, I will work on it for 2 weeks and then I'll give myself like a day break. Like for one day, I won't touch this project, and then the next day you feel rejuvenated to continue working on the project. This especially used to be so relevant when I used to still be a developer. Like, it would get to a point that I do not want to see any line of code. So what I do is I just don't design for, or I don't code for one entire day. And then the next day, I am more motivated to do it. I think the same applies to design. Seeing the same thing over and over again, it becomes monotonous to you. It becomes, you even start seeing as if your design is not that great as when you started, because now you're used to it. So take a rest, take a break from it. this would be a good place if you have multiple projects and maybe you can't really take a real break because you have other things that you're also pending. Take a break by doing another project. Like, today, let me focus on this other project, and maybe there were some things pending. Let me get them down for today. And then when you come back to your other product, you will find that you're fresher. You are more in fact, the other product may have had some design inspiration that you couldn't apply to it, but now you can apply to this, or you could apply to it and this project too. So you'd find like the ideas are flowing much better. Thank you so much for attending this session, and I hope it is as helpful to you as it has been to me. And let me know what you guys do to stay motivated and keep productive as you work on other projects. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends these episodes, people who are interested in the same thing. Thank you for watching. Bye.